Hey guys, what's up? I'm Brian, and I know it's pretty late for me, but I decided, hey, why not do a live stream because I couldn't get any sleep. So yeah, I'll try and get at least a couple hours in. I had a long nap earlier, so not a big deal. But anyways, you don't care about that. Um, Today I am talking about the Titans Returns show. I'm only going to do this for like probably half an hour at most because I've got other videos that have new stuff going on that I want to upload. Um, I want to upload them as quickly as possible. Um, I would just talk about them here, but I don't feel like it because I already did a video talking about it, so might as well just upload that. But anyways, today we are talking about the Titans Returns show. I will put up camera. Just give me a second. I need to put that back just a bit. All right. So, anyways, what do I think of Titans Returns? Let's talk about that. I know this is a little late now. I apologize for that, but I don't mean late in the day. I mean late as in the episodes have been out for like the past a couple of days. Um, Probably a week now. Probably a new episode's coming out very shortly. I don't know. But we got a couple of episodes called Aftermath and Rebirth, and what was the other one? Our Heroes something like that. I can't even remember. But we can't talk about Titans Returns before talking about Combiner Wars. Now, Combiner Wars was a mess, and they really tried to say, oh yeah, there were so many people around the world. People are going crazy for this, and it's like, no, that's not the case. Don't spoil anything for me. Well, you might want to leave then, because I'm gonna be talking about spoilers. It's 10-minute videos. Like, just go watch them. They're really uh they're really fast. Um, so I will say this: spoilers, I guess. Um, In fact, if we're going through spoilers, I'm just going to say beforehand, there were a couple of things I want to talk about. Um, so before we actually talk about Titans Returns, let's talk about those things because I was going to talk about a few updates. I have a Twitter now. It finally happened. I've got a Twitter. So if you guys want to follow me on Twitter, it's at tfanpage11. So go there. Um, I was in a Skype call and someone said, "Why don't you go get a Twitter?" And I finally decided, you know what? Why don't I? So I got one. So far, I've only posted my videos and just random thoughts and my cat. You can see a photo of my cat there. Actually, don't worry, it probably won't be worth my time. I mean, look what happened to Combine Wars. Yeah, exactly. So anyways, I got a Twitter, and someone asked me recently, am I going to do a Q&A on Transformers Misfortune? I think I'm going to do a video asking for questions on Transformers Misfortune, not necessarily do them on the live stream. Yes, I'm planning a live stream after Transformers Misfortune. It's season 1 finale. After that, I'm gonna do it, or at least I plan to. We're still working on what we want to do, but I think I'm gonna ask for questions beforehand, maybe on Twitter, maybe on YouTube. I don't know. Um, but the reason why is I've noticed a couple of people are asking questions about the show that involve spoilers. No one's directly asked, "Oh, who's the Prime?" But there's a few people that ask certain stuff about the show that it's like I can't really talk about it, and it feels like it's obvious that you. I think your cat ate my cat, probably. Um, I think it's obvious that it would be a spoiler, and I shouldn't say it, but I find it weird that people ask. So, anyways, so yeah, Misfortune live stream coming out after the season 1 finale. There's also something else involving season 1 that I'm not going to talk about right now. I will say this, later on, probably today, I will try to write the Transformers Misfortune Christmas Special 2. So, keep an eye on that. Okay, let's finally get into Titans Returns then. Combiner Wars. Really bad show. Really bad. I didn't like it. There were a few things that were enjoyable, that were actually good. Like Megatron, the new voice actor for him was pretty good. Of course, I love Frank Walker, especially recently. I don't know why. It's just he sounds more scary. Transformers Prime, Age of Extinction, even though it was crappy design, so it kind of didn't really work with them. And The Last Night, mainly. I mean, it's scary. So, yeah, I was not excited for this. I saw the trailer and I saw, oh, Starscream returns and he's Trypticon. I was like, what the fuck? What the actual fuck is going on? Misfortune is the best Transformers web series I know. Could you at some point make a review of your custom Galvatron? I'll probably do that. Which reminds me. Ah, shit. I almost fell. There's a bag here. I'm going to step on that bag. I should probably pick that up. Where are you? There you are. I've had this thing for probably a year and a half now. Galvatron. I'm sorry that I keep, turning away. There's been so many collection videos with my customs, and I haven't shown this off. Now, Galvatron can sit right there. I'll try to fix that shelf later, but Galvatron can sit with everyone now. Okay. Brian, name all the Transformers. You know what? No, I'm going to stop looking at the chat. Titans Returns. Gotta talk about that, okay? So, when I heard that they were doing Titans Returns, I was like, we're continuing this. So it's going to be probably as shitty. Probably going to be better because they've taken the time to realize their mistakes. So I thought, okay, maybe this will be good. And I see people write reviews, and of course they have the freedom to express themselves, of course. But I see a lot of reviews saying, you know what, it sucks, but at least it's better than okay. Sorry, I was looking for something. At least it's better than Combiner Wars. At least it's so much better than Combiner Wars. Not saying that it's a good series now, but at least it's not that with the stupid Starscream cloud thing and whatever, and the weird crap going on and the frame rate and stuff like that, which I'll agree, the frame rate in Combiner Wars is a lot worse than Titans Returns, which is a good thing moving forward. Here's my opinion. I actually think it's a lot worse than Combiner Wars, just based on the first 2 episodes. And granted, it is the first 2 episodes, so the show as it progresses might actually be better. But as far as the current standpoint of the show, it's not good. It's definitely worse than Combiner Wars. The frame rate is a lot better, and it's a lot longer of an episode. It's 10 minutes compared to the original 4 or 5 minutes that Combiner Wars was doing, which wasn't really a problem for me. The problem was, okay, you got 5 minutes and then you wait, and it's the waiting. But as far as the content is concerned, it doesn't really do anything to the content for me, so I don't really care, you know. Just give me the content and I'll be happy for that, or, you know, depending if it's good or not. It really doesn't change my opinion. But hey, 10 minutes, you know, that's a lot better. You know, you get more out of an episode, but I don't feel like you're going to get more for the series. Maybe. I don't know. Actually, I think you're going to get more out of this series compared to Combiner Wars. But I don't know, because it also seems like they're really rushing into things, which is a problem. Because, see, here's one major thing that's wrong with Titans Returns, is it's messy. It is entirely messy, and it is the same issue as The Mummy, which I saw recently, finally. And oh, yeah, thankfully I saw The Mummy. Mummy. Ugh, terrible movie. But it's the same problem with that, is it's not its own. It is trying to rely on Combiner Wars and the future Power of the Primes. You know it's going to move on to Power of the Primes. You know that that stuff is in mind. They keep hinting towards that, especially with Rodimus. But the issue is, it doesn't feel like it's its own series. Like, if you take a comparison to Marvel, each movie, yeah, it's tied to another movie, but it's also its own movie first. Take, for example, I'll even say this, Transformers Misfortune. It leads to other events, and when you have a show, of course it's going to do that, and especially when you got multiple seasons in the show, but it leads on to future events and future seasons, but it still has to be in the now. You have to realize what's going on at the current time so that we are invested to see what happens in the future. But what's going on is, it's relying on the fact that you're going to continue to watch it, and you know that you're going to watch Power of the Primes. And that was the problem with The Mummy, because it wasn't, like, half of the movie was, okay, it's The Mummy, and then half of the movie is, we got a cinematic universe that we gotta do. And it's like, can we just watch this? With Iron Man, at least you have one just Iron Man movie. With Captain America, you have at least just one just Captain America movie. With Thor, you have at least one just Thor movie. You know, and you know, you got Thor Ragnarok and Civil War that brings in all these other people into the movies. Hell, Captain America Civil War doesn't even feel like a Captain America movie. But you still at least had one product that was that. And even going into, I haven't seen Thor Ragnarok, so I can't really make that example. But Captain America Civil War, you knew that that was the product that you were going to get. And that's what you got. And you're happy about it. But you can obviously tell that this is going to lead into events with Power of the Primes. Some of the things that are good in this, again, the frame rate, I think it looks a lot better. It actually feels like it's more of a style this time. Again, the voice of Megatron. Peter Cullen returning. I have no disrespect for John, but it kind of threw me off with Optimus Prime. I don't like how Optimus Prime has a different voice from then and now. It's weird, but at the same time, I'm like, I love Peter Cullen so much. So. And then I'm trying to think of any other good thing. I enjoyed Windblade, I guess. I know a lot of people don't, oddly enough. Trying to think of anything else good to really say. It's all kind of a blur. Metroplex is cool to see, I guess, although he doesn't really feel relevant. Oh! And by relevant, I mean he doesn't have a Titans Returns toy, you know. He's got a Generations toy, but not some from recent. Anyways, the good thing, or one of the main good things about this, is the backstory of the Titans Returns. or the Titans Returns, the backstory of the Titans. When they explain that they were made to help colonize another world, and then once that was done, they would move on to another planet and be able to colonize that. I was really invested in that because it felt like it gave Titans more of a reason to exist in peace and not just it's a big weapon, you know? And I actually really did enjoy watching that. And I wish to hear a little bit more on that. I was really invested. So I thought that was like one of the best parts on the show. Let's talk about what sucks. And I'll save the absolute worst thing for last. Some of the voice actors and actresses just don't work. And I don't know if I blamed them or the direction going for this. It seems like for a lot of the lines, maybe they just didn't really want to bug the voice actors or voice actresses because they knew that they needed them for Power of the Primes. So they didn't want to piss them off, so that they had to find a new voice actor or actress. But some of the some of the written lines themselves are bad, and some of the ways, like how it's given, is pretty bad too. Like actually hearing the lines is garbage. I'm not the best voice actor, but I've seen enough movies and shit to really pick up on, oh, that I'm invested in, that I'm invested in, that's a good voice actor, that's a good voice actress. And then here I'm like, no. And no disrespect to any of the voice actors or actresses on this project, but I can't look past it. It is a problem. And I don't really want to point any names, but whoever voices Mistress of Flame, the Mistress of Flame, I'm sorry, I can't get into that. Now, she probably has this lesser tone to her because that's what they were going for. That I kind of understand. But you kind of pick up on that, but you also pick up on that's not done well. So I can't really pinpoint in an exact line, but I remember, like, I think it was like halfway into the second episode. It was just before the Seekers were coming in that the Mistress of Flame said something, and I was like, okay, that was said. Another problem I have is Trypticon's coming around, which, by the way, is Starscream now, which is a reference to Starscream's ghost. I'll talk about the references later on. But, which, by the way, Starscream back, woo, it was terrible beforehand. Let's do it again. Windblade shows up to Perceptor's lab, and she has to urgently tell Perceptor, like, Trypticon's coming. This is a big deal. It's a problem. And Perceptor's like, no, you need to see this. This is fascinating. Which, you know, that's fine. I can see Perceptor doing that. The problem that I have is not necessarily Perceptor, it's Windblade. Because she's like, Perceptor, we need to go. Something major is happening. It's big. It's a big deal. And then it's like, okay, show me what you got. Cool. Yeah. And then Perceptor looks outside and it's like, oh my god, that's Trypticon. And Windblade's like, that's what I was trying to tell you. And it's like, yeah, you did a good job, bitch. So that's a problem. They mentioned that Perceptor should be one of the High Council people to replace Starscream. I was like, okay, I guess that could possibly work. But at the same time, I was like, maybe he should just stick to his lab. And I was also thinking, Optimus, you're kind of nice to Perceptor. Is this what was going on in your head? Like, you hate Perceptor, but you knew that he was destined to be some High Council member, so you put up with him? I just thought that was funny. That's not really a complaint. I just thought that was hilarious, that Optimus Optimus is like the only person who's like, you know what, Perceptor is a great guy. When in Generation 1 it's like, fucking Perceptor, shut the fuck up. So I thought that was hilarious. Yeah, Starscream's return. One of the worst things in Combiner Wars. You're gonna bring him back, right? I saw someone complain that, oh, you guys didn't see that Starscream would betray everyone. It's obvious that would happen. Starscream always does that. And here's the thing, especially with the voice and tone and everything that's going on, it seemed like, and especially with the trailer beforehand, this was a different Starscream. And the thing that I think he was missing was, we want to see this happen. We were invested in seeing a different Starscream, and then they fucked it up. And it wasn't just the fact that, oh, he betrayed everyone, it's what happened that fucked up. And here's another problem that I have with the show, is it makes you, like it wants to get you to be sucked into this moment and that moment. Take, for example, there's something going on with Rodimus that it kind of just wants to get you invested in, but it fails, and I'm going to talk about that in a sec. But there's something else with Metroplex and Windblade where they're talking about how, at this point, Metroplex is not as well as he used to be, and now he has to be put up to the task on stopping Trypticon. So now you have this, and he's explaining to Windblade, like, something bad could happen to me. Like, this could be terrible. And it tries to play on the music like this is supposed to be dramatic. And I'm just like, we're 2 episodes in, and we barely know anything about Metroplex in this. Like, granted, Metroplex has been around for 30 years, but this is a new alliteration. You can't just go, oh yeah, Metroplex could die, and just end it off like that. You can complain that that's exactly what they did with Cliffjumper. They brought up a character and killed him off, and it was dramatic, just like that. How can you be sucked into something with Cliffjumper, but not by Metroplex? Because Cliffjumper, you knew who he was in this. Cliffjumper was this very sarcastic, genuine person who was an Autobot, who would fight for what he believes in. The difference between Cliffjumper and Metroplex is Metroplex is given nothing beforehand except there's Metroplex. That's pretty much it. So we're not invested in the character whatsoever, except for the fact that it's a nostalgic character. That's it. That's all we have. Woo! I just... And now I can finally talk about Hot Rod and Rodimus Prime. So in the show, Rodimus decides, I want to be Hot Rod again, and gives up the matrix of leadership. He says, you know what, you need to go find someone else. Which is, again, one of the things that leads on to Power of the Primes. You can obviously tell. Here's the problem with that. Hot Rod sucks. I'm a guy who saw The Last Night and thought, okay, this Hot Rod's enjoyable. It's not as bad or cringy as I thought it was going to be. You know, I actually kind of like this. This is the point that I think this sucks. Now, I know someone's going to freak out, but Judd Nelson is doing the voice. He was the original Hot Rod. And Rodimus Prime. He's a lot older now. He doesn't sound like what he was, you know? No disrespect to Judd Nelson, but now he has to play Hot Rod again. If he was just Rodimus Prime, fine, I'd be okay with it. I still don't think the line delivery is that well, but again, that might just be the direction, or I don't know. But at least it would be serviceable as Rodimus Prime. But now he has to be Hot Rod as well. And it doesn't work. It really does not work for me. I don't get the faceplate. Why does he have that? Why? Is it to make a bigger difference between Hot Rod and Rodimus Prime? Which, at the same time, I guess that makes sense. Because growing up, when I saw Rodimus Prime for the first time, I'm like, that's still Hot Rod. Oh, it's Rodimus Prime now? He's different now? You sure? So, and again, no disrespect to Judd Nelson, but I feel like they should have got someone else. If he was just Rodimus Prime, fine, but I think they should have got someone else for the Hot Rod part. I really, I can't get invested by that. So that might just be me, but it doesn't work. And before anyone says, well, he's the original voice actor, that doesn't really make it good, you know? I'm going to talk about nostalgia in a sec, too. But here's another thing. I think Rodimus Prime is a douche. He decides, you know what, I'm not interested in being Hot Rod, even though I have responsibilities. I'm not interested in being Rodimus Prime anymore, even though I have responsibilities. I want to be Hot Rod again. And so they take the Matrix back, and he's just like, I'm Hot Rod now. And I'm just thinking, what the fuck? You have completely dumped a huge responsibility that Optimus Prime gave you, and you just dump on it like that. Now, you could argue that maybe he wasn't Rodimus Prime for the longest time. And I could see that, but again, with Judd Nelson, and the fact that we don't know anything about this and what's going on, because, I mean, yeah, you can say, well, it ties into the IDW stuff. It doesn't really directly. They've explained that it doesn't really tie into IDW. It's just kind of inspired by it. Like it's almost like a loose tie-in or something like that. But I feel like this exists because the comics for IDW didn't want to base their stories on the toys. Because if you noticed, I know I'm getting off subject, but I just thought of something. If you noticed in IDW, when the Generations Transformers comic stuff was starting off, like the Hoist and Orion Pax and whatnot, and Combiner Wars and stuff like that, they had to make the comics for that and tie in the toys to that. It feels like the toys were made first and then the comics. Like originally it started that these were inspired by the comics, but then later on it's like, well, we're going to make the toys first and then the comics. I feel like they don't want to do that anymore. So like the IDW team, whoever's behind that, wants a little more creative freedom in what they're doing. So they made the show to go with the toys now. I feel like that's what's going on. Could be wrong about that, but it just seems like that's what they've decided to do. Anyways, so again, we don't know anything much about Hot Rod and Rodimus Prime. We haven't had a lot of time with them. I'm saying like two different people. We haven't had a lot of time with him in this show, in this alliteration. Again, yes, he is a nostalgic character, but with different alliterations, it's not always going to be the same. So I can't get invested by this because I think it is such a douchey thing that he was given all these responsibilities and completely dumps it. I get it for the Power of the Prime's toys and moving on. I understand that to a degree. But I just think that was a terrible way to do it. I thought it was a garbage way to move on. I didn't like that. I don't like Hot Rod in this. Granted, it's just so far. I can't really judge the whole show itself, and I plan to do a full-on review later on. That'll be better than this, hopefully. But I just, like, from the first 2 episodes right now, I'm not liking it. Now, here's the thing with that, is for a lot of shows, the first 2 episodes aren't really the best. But later on, you get a little more invested. But at least for, let's say, for example, the Marvel shows where kind of it's slow in its beginning, but then it builds up and you get a little more invested by it. At least from the beginning, I'm invested by something going on with the plot. This, the only thing that I was really invested by is the Titans and how they colonize. That was it. Other than that, I can't really think anything plot-wise. I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. This totally changes everything. Just a lot of choices that were made that were very poor. At least it's not like Pikachu talking. Yeah, I've heard about that. It's garbage. But yeah, it just doesn't work. And here's another thing. I understand that there's a lot of nostalgia to this. With the character designs, with the voice actors, they got the narrator from the original Transformers. Yes, it is the original one in the year 2005. They got Peter Cullen back and stuff like that. They have the Seekers going over Trypticon, and they're flying around, which, by the way, the effects, oh my god, that's terrible. But I'm not good either. So, but nostalgia doesn't really make it good. It's also the same thing with Starscream's Ghost. Is like, yeah, that's a reference to Generation 1, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be good. It just means that it took inspiration from Generation 1. It almost feels like a cop-out at this point. Because Combiner Wars didn't do so well, so they might have thought, okay, let's just throw in a whole bunch of Generation 1 tropes and stuff and whatever, and maybe people will like it based off of that. And I'm just like, I can't. You know, as much as I love Transformers Prime, there's some things in Robots in Disguise that happen that I hate. So you can't really just rely on, oh, this was nostalgia, and say, well, we'll put it in and it'll be good. But no, you have to put it in and realize that you're putting it in this plot with all this going on. So building up with it, it can become stupid. Like, take, for example, I imagine if they did Starscream's Ghost today, and it was for a different reason, or they did it in a different way in general, people wouldn't like it. People would think, oh my god, that is the stupidest thing ever. But because it happened in Generation 1, and because of what happened building up to it, it worked. You know, it was kind of weird and crazy back in Generation 1, but it worked more so then than it does on this show. I can't really rely on I can't really rely on original stuff to make something good. And again, I feel like that's kind of a cop-out. It might just be me. I'm not saying references or Easter eggs, or hell, if you want to do something from an original material, that's fine. You know, Transformers Misfortune is like red versus blue. It takes inspiration from that. And we've also got some Easter eggs from original Transformers stuff. But we also need to realize that we can add that in and it doesn't ruin anything, or the Easter egg doesn't ruin anything, you know, or you know, the other way around or whatever. So I didn't really enjoy this. Now you're probably sitting there thinking, okay, how is this worse than Combiner Wars? You had a huge rant on the Insane Asylum about Starscream. Brian, What? How is Titans Returns any worse than that? Any worse than the Starscream bullshit that was going on? Any worse than the frame rate that was going on? How is it any worse? Because Combiner Wars, I can say at least something happened. Something would happen that is stupid, but at least it's interesting and intriguing in how stupid it can be. And sometimes there's a fight that I'm into. Now, they haven't really gone toe-to-toe with Metroplex and Trypticon. So far from what I'm seeing on the trailers, it doesn't look too good. It just, I don't know, nothing really fascinates me on that. Maybe it's because the cities around it don't really look like cities. So they just look like you got smaller Transformers and then you got normal-sized Transformers because you don't really get the sense of scale. But that might just be me. But yeah, again, at least in Combiner Wars, I can say this was enjoyable, that was enjoyable, even though it was so stupid. At least I was interested in something. With Titans Returns, the only thing that I was really interested in was the idea of the Titans. That's pretty much it so far. We've had some action in this, and that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, Optimus Prime honks his horn at the Mistress of Flame. That was something too. So I cannot say this was a good start. It might be better later on, but I can't say this was good. But Cliffjumper was a good character. Metroplex is just a character for the sake of adding more characters to the roster. Yep, that's pretty much it. Let's see. I can feel the screaming of fans around the world as he said that. Yeah, try telling that to Hasbro. We hate this! Oh, I can see that you love it. Well, we're going to do it worse. Someone asked me about Misfortune earlier. Let's see. Name all the Transformers Power of the Prime toys. Well, I guess you're going to have to watch Before It's Out series. I mean, I like how they incorporated the Starscream Ghost idea, but this is fucking ridiculous. By this point, they might as well make the Mistress of Flame a headmaster. By the way, where's the headmasters? We've got Fortress Maximus coming in, and that's pretty much it. You know, with Embassy, and it seems like Embassy's probably not even going to have his own headmaster. You know what's funny? You could see at the back of Perceptor's head the legs for a headmaster, but they don't use a headmaster as far as I know. I really didn't like this. I guess no one said Misfortune. Yeah, Cyberverse. I'm sorry, I can't say that I'm excited for Cyberverse. And I'm going to tell you this, I am kind of worried about Transformers at this point. You got fans who are not taking light into anything that they would release. Like, let's say, for example, Titans Returns. You got Trigger Happy, Misfire, Twin Twist, Topspin. Octone is kind of cool. Blitzwing is kind of cool. You got Six Shot. You got Overlord. You got Trypticon. And for some reason, even though you have all that and more, you have the Legends, you have whatever else, the whole toy line still sucks. You got the movie stuff where it's got Nitro Zeus, it's got Megatron, it's got can't think at the top of my head. Not that there's bad figures, or not that I'm thinking of too many bad figures. It's just for some reason all I can think of is Crosshairs and Squeaks, and I can't think of anyone else. But even those two are all right. But yet the whole toy line sucks. Robots in Disguise, they made a lot of good figures this year, and the whole toy line sucks. So you got people who, it's fine if you can't get into anything, but you're kind of stretching it when you're saying the whole toy line sucks. It's all cheap plastic, and which, by the way, you're comparing that to something that you spent $100 on, or sorry, let me try that again. You are probably comparing that to a third-party figure that you probably spent hundreds of dollars on a $20 figure. So, of course, the quality is going to be different. You know, third party has a lot more room to do whatever with compared to Hasbro. And Hasbro has to make so many toys per year too. Hello, Paper Plane. Brian, do you want to hear an Oda Plies joke? I did. It's called The Last Episode. I haven't seen Titans Returns yet. How was it? It was bad. It was very bad. I just went a whole rant saying that so far the first 2 episodes is worse than Combiner Wars. Because, as I said, at least Combiner Wars can be enjoyably stupid. What do you call an Asian-only friend? What do you call it? Asian? So yeah. But again, this is just so far. This is not me saying the whole show sucks, because the whole show isn't even out. I can't say that. But what I can say is, so far with this, it's not good. I get it. It's funny boy. I think Fort Max is gonna carry the Headmasters, and then Weird Wolf, Skull Smasher, Cruncher, and Mindwipe are gonna become Decepticons like the original show. I wouldn't say that, honestly. I'm not sure that they're gonna do that. I can tell you this right now. I never saw Combiner Wars show and not Titans Returns. Yeah. It's really disappointing. And what I was trying to explain is, it's got me worried because the Cyberverse series, I see people saying, oh my god, this looks really good. And I'm like, I can't really get into it. Yes, hi, Archivist. I saw you. I can't really get into this. And yeah, I'm just basing that on one photo and a description of the show, which, granted, the show looks different than what we've seen as far as what is being described to us. That I'm interested in, but what direction is it going to go? So you have that. Then you have Transformers The Last Night. I still stand to say that was a bad movie. I also find it funny, I should mention this just quickly. I saw a review for Transformers The Last Night, and half of the likes, dislikes was, I'll try that again. Likes and dislikes were pretty much split. And like half of the comments were like, oh, you're just saying that to get on the Transformers is bad train. And some of the comments were like, you haven't even seen the movie. I'm just like, have you? It's a bad movie. So you have that, and then you have this. And you know you're going to get more of this with Power of the Primes. So I'm just going to say this. I'm really concerned with what's going on with Transformers now. Because you have people who are getting less interested in the toys. Kinda. I mean, I'm seeing more people get the Top Spin Twin Twist, and I'm hearing more stories of, I haven't bought a this figure in years, but I just bought this, and it's amazing. So it's kind of just how you see it. But the shows and material in general, IDW Comics, don't even get me started. The movies aren't doing too good, even for them. The only thing, and the show just, I don't know how that is. The new Cyberverse one, but this show currently going on right now is not too good. And again, a lot of it is kind of basing it on nostalgia and putting it into a situation that kind of just sours it down, and voice actors and shit like that, and it's not good. So the only thing that I can see actually getting excited for, as weird as this sounds, is the Bumblebee movie. It's a sad day when that's that's the thing I'm mostly excited for. But I'm mostly excited for Travis Knight, so I have a reason. Everything else that I have heard from Transformers right now doesn't sound like it's gonna do too well. And yeah, you know, you got the movie edition toy line coming out soon. Yeah, but how many people are into the movie toy line? There's just, I haven't seen anything that's just generally liked in a series, show, comic, toy line, or anything like that. I haven't seen anything that's just generally liked. And yes, you're going to have some people that aren't going to like this or aren't going to like that, but it's, no matter what, it just seems like it's split. It is completely split. There's some toys that people are like, oh my god, this is great. And even then, people are complaining, oh, they're all headmasters. So what? I mean, my god, try getting the damn thing. Try getting the Trigger Happy Top Spin Twin Twist. They're actually good figures, but of course they're headmasters, so you're gonna miss out. You're gonna miss out on an actual cool figure. I mean, yeah, Power of the Primes. I still see complaints on that, but I still see people saying it looks cheap, it looks bad. Which again goes for that comparison with third party. You got a headache reviewing Transformers 5? Yeah. Just reviewing it or watching it? You know you're a true Breton when you have a sausage roll for lunch 5 days a week. I can't argue with the results. So, Titans Returns, I'm sorry. If things don't light up, if things don't go better, I can't say I'm excited for Power of the Prime. I will say I'm excited for the toy line, though. I mean, you got Abominus coming out, you got Dinobots. Jazz actually looks pretty good now. I did it before it's out saying, well, there's one thing that really sets me off from the entire thing. And now I'm just like, I don't even care. I just want Jazz. Dreadwind looks very cool. Unfortunately, they're not out in Canada just yet. They're on ToysRUs.ca, but they are not on in stock. Mostly just seems like it's almost pre-order. So we're gonna have to wait and see. Oh, by the way, I did find Nitro, Zeus, Scorn, Crosshairs, Bumblebee, and Strafe at my Walmart. So they are out. Yeah, the Power of the Prime stuff is still not available. I sent CBtron a link to the Power of the Prime stuff, and I think they didn't news credit me. As much as I don't want to sound salty on anything, I feel like they just didn't want to credit me, but maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just being paranoid. So yeah, that's my take on Titans Returns. That's my take on the whole show. I'm disappointed. I'm really disappointed. Though, what did I expect? Once again, I have a Twitter account now, so you guys can follow me on Twitter. It's twitter.com/tfanpage101, so you guys can check that out. Check me out on Facebook and stuff like that. I have not gotten one notification on Twitter right now since my last time on Twitter. Let's see. So yeah. And of course, the Facebook pages. Are you gonna watch Justice League, Brian? Well, eventually. So yeah. I mean, what else is there to say? I got a couple of videos that I gotta post, so I'm gonna go do that now. My advice to you: don't watch Titans Returns unless you're curious, but don't expect much to come out of it. Hot Rod sucks. Yeah. I think for the reviews, you know, when they put the reviews in the poster, I think they should put my name and just Hot Rod sucks. So with that out of the way, that's my opinion. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and all those fun doodads. I'm sorry that this was taking too long. Transformers Misfortune season finale is next week. If you guys want to see a teaser on that, it's just a quick little 5-second thing. Go to my Twitter because there's a video there. Go to TFan Page Extra. I've noticed a lot of people aren't going to the extra channel. But with that out of the way, that's pretty much it. I thank you guys for watching. Don't know when we're going to do the Transformers Misfortune live stream, but hopefully soon. So stay tuned on that, and I will see you guys next time.